With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back, Trackside. Once again, race fans, here to the Turn 3 Racing Network, back in action once again, hitting the high banks concrete jungle. The Miles Monster. On tap here tonight, the Beltway 200 fixing to get underway right here from Dover International Speedway, the Cyber Thunder. Pro Cup Series ready to fire things off for race number 3 this season. Qualifying just about ready to wrap up, but we're going to get straight to the action and head trackside for your national anthem. But before we do, will we see a fresh face at the front of this field? Looking to snatch that premier Racing Setups Pole Award here tonight behind the wheel of the 97. Kyle Nadu with the quick time here in qualifying 23:42 is the fast time for Nadu. Over 20 drivers already laying down a qualifying time of just about 30 seconds remaining. I don't think anybody is going to snatch that top spot away. So really quick, we'll get right to that track information and throw up some of the time being scoring over there to the left-hand side of your screen. There you can see Nate to top of the speed charts, Andrew Caldwell. Gary Bowman right there as well. Last week's race winner, Dave Sanders, the 77, right here inside of the top 5. We're going to have to keep our eye on Sanders as the night winds down here tonight. Less than 25 seconds to get around this 1 mile concrete jungle. We're going to have some cars beating and banging. We're going to see who heads to Miles' junkyard for a little bit of a snack. But first, we're going to head trackside for your national anthem. Don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be right back.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly wailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular their bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
And right back trackside as the airmen from Andrews Air Force Base just down the road give us a wonderful flyover to kick things off here tonight. So we're going to jump right close to the track as we've got 24 drivers slotted in tonight's starting lineup. It's going to be one heck of a run, awaiting the word from the boss man at the flag stand, and it looks like he sent the signal. It's time to roll here tonight from Dover International Speedway. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Starting inside row number 1 behind that 97 machine, Adam Madsim Racing. Kyle Nadu will take the Premier Racing Setup Pole Award tonight. The 46 of Andrew Caldwell right behind him. Look for Caldwell to be fast. That Interstate Batteries number 46 quick last week at Chicagoland. Back in row 2, Gary Bowman and Dave Sanders, William Kern and Corey Sherman. In row number 3, 92 of Ed Jurgen, followed by Judd Danielson. In row number 4, Jerry Isaacs and Chris Dorsey. Round out your top 10, you can find Bowen and Keene. Back in row 6, inside row number 7, starting behind the wheel of that 13 machine, Christian Delgado, followed by the 47 of Nathan Dufton. Andrew Koska, Ray Richer, row 8, Alan Ayers and Cody Richardson in row 9. Rest of the field looks a little something like that. Pace truck out the way. We're set to get underway and quickly on the gas. Green flag flies for the first time here tonight in the Beltway 200. We told you we were going to get right into the action. These Cyber Thunder Pro Cup Racing Series drivers, no wait, no hesitation. They are ready to roll the moment they unload. Fast and happy hour, fast and qualifying. Oh, into the outside wall. I believe that's going to be I believe that's William Kern in the 31, dropping 1 position after the contact with the outside wall. Olsen or Nadu stepping away, 1 car length advantage. Single file for the majority of the field back behind him. Let's go back here William Kern going at it now with that 6. Corey Sherman, who touched that outside wall. Coming at it 4, almost into the outside wall again. A few drivers flirting with disaster early here at Dover. We're going to bring you some of those up-close shots coming out of these corners throughout tonight's broadcast, and you'll notice a little bit of unloading that goes on with these cars. They come up out of the corners. You can almost see it right there. You can see that front splitter coming off the ground just a little bit as they crest the hill coming out of 4, and then you dive down into turn number 1. Very much a roller coaster ride here at Bristol International Speedway. Still side by side for position 5th and 6th on the racetrack. We've got more racing back behind this field as we cross the line and lap number 5 goes on the board. We'll drop that timing and scoring over there to the left-hand side of your screen. Let you find and follow along with your favorite driver here tonight from Dover. Battle still raging on here between Kern and Sherman, side by side for about 4 laps now. Oh, and they're going to be a problem on the front stretch. Trouble as the two tango. They were battling and battle. Oh, more contact for yet another innocent bystander, and here comes a little piece for the 65. Tough break there for Chris Letts, trying to get out of the way. He's going to catch a little bit of that action, so under caution for the first time here tonight on lap number 6. Let's go back. Let's check the replay. Let's see what happened here between Kern and the 6 machine. There you can see just up the racetrack a little bit. Catching that right rear quarter, you can see that big contact there. Some big hit, big contact there at the end of that thing. Let's see who that was. Can we get that again, guys? Do we got the drone? This is why I love y'all. Y'all get me what I ask for. Trying to avoid the trouble, avoid the problems. And there it is. Just going to catch a piece of it. I do believe that may have been the 10 of Chris Dorsey, or possibly the 101 of Dave Gainforth. So a handful of guys catching a bit of the action after the fact. And indeed, the 10 of Chris Dorsey heads down pit road. So that's going to be where the problem is. Rest of the field going to stay out here tonight. Early caution at Dover, lap number 6. We're under caution. Drivers eyeballing a 3-stop race here tonight to get to the official race distance. 200 miles, 200 laps around this concrete jungle. And if you haven't raced on concrete before, the reactions that it has to the heat and to the rubber being laid down, the track rubbering up, very different from that of a typical asphalt paved track. We're going to see a little bit of different characteristics out of these machines here tonight. We're going to see which one of these drivers are able to navigate their way through the trouble all night long. Will we see that long green flag run? Dover, known for producing some great racing action and some great long runs. But cautions do breed cautions. And at a tough, tight track as this, gotta wonder when these drivers are gonna get their feet under them, if you will. All very talented, high caliber drivers here on iRacing.com. So I don't think we're gonna have ourselves a parking lot at the end of this thing. But look for some guys to make some moves here. Restarts, very important, very key to try to get the edge up on your competitors while they're close enough without you having to wear out that right rear or that right front. You got to be careful not to make the car too tight early in the run by abusing that right front. We're going to see what happens throughout this field. Looks to be about 5 drivers down pit road as it opened up for the first time under caution here tonight at Dover. Our good buddy Joshua Norwood going to take that pace truck right back down pit lane, and we're going to get ready to smash the gas once again. And back green flag racing. Easy advantage there for the 97. Nadu going to easily take that top spot away. Sanders going to come down to cover second. Now falling back to third is Andrew Caldwell. How about Bowman dropping a spot to fourth? Ed Jurgen now sits in fifth. We're going to back up from the track a little bit. Let's go around that 10th position. A lot of drivers knotted up, loading with each other right here, all the way back there from Gary Bowman, Jerry Isaacs, Ed Jurgen, Christian Delgado, Jacob Bowen, Dan Keene, Cody Richardson right here. How about Andrew Koska up in the mix? There's a lot of drivers all over each other very early here tonight from Dover. And as we complete our second lap after the caution, we're going to go ahead and drop that timing scoring back to the left-hand side of your screen once again. Now that 86 GoPro. Toyota Camry looking sporty up at the top of the racetrack. Koska trying to make some moves, but not having as good a look. It's Cody Richardson. As he looked like 12 laps behind us now, off of 4, across the line, 13 goes on the board. Driver's going to head through 1 and 2 down the back stretch and into turn number 3. Everybody chasing after your Premier Racing Center overall winner here tonight. Kyle Nadu going to lead the field. At a 4, back across the stripe, but get another lap led under his belt. Some great side-by-side action all over this field as we cross the line. Lap 15 going to quickly go on the board. Nadu unable to step away as quickly as he did before. As we join this 3-4 car battle still raging on the Camrys. Looking for something. Koska, Finley, Bowen. Right there, 9th, 10th, and 11th on the racetrack. Big moves early here tonight for Richardson and Finmore. Both up double digits, 10 positions in 12 positions now as Finmore going to take a spot away from Koska. Don't blink an eye, don't bat an eyelash, because I promise you, you're gonna miss some action here. Drivers all over each other, still under that 24-second mark on the stopwatch. Lap times very quick here tonight. Pavement very hot. This concrete surface has been baking in the Delaware sun all afternoon long. Now these Cyber Thunder Pro Cup Series drivers have got to try to manage the heat, manage the tire wear, and keep the pace underneath them. We're going to continue to watch a lot of different battles here. Let's go up with the 51 there. We can see Jerry Isaacs embroiled in a battle with the 08 of Gary Bowman as Christian Delgado right behind him. Big moment back in the field. Ooh. Big moment there. Nathan Dufton in the 47 Toyota Camry. A little bit of trouble off of 4. He'll collect. I promise I can say it. He'll collect the car and corral it ahead back in the right direction. As the front of the field slowly starts to sort themselves out and settle in. Looking at a long green flag run now. Let's head. Where do you want to go, guys? Let's go back here with Jacob Bowen and Nathan Dufton. Ray Richard, top of the racetrack, behind the wheel of that 44 machine. Bowen looking for a position on the bottom. He's going to head back to the top of the racetrack. The mobile one, number 47 of Dufton, all over his rear deck. Whoa, big moment there for Dufton off of 4. closer look back with one of our Ford onboard cameras here tonight, taking a look off of the tail end of Jacob Bowen running into 14th position. He's got a hungry Toyota driver, Duncan, right behind him. Speaking of Toyotas, let's go here to that Interstate Batteries number 46 machine. Running in the 3rd position. He qualified 2nd, trying to separate himself from the rest of the field. Your top 3 slowly begin to break away. One, two, three. Now a 3/4 of a second advantage for 4th place runner Gary Bowman, who's got Jerry Isaacs and Christian Delgado all over him. Cody Richardson still marching his way to the front. Now up yet another position, move him to 7th. Close. Their contact off of 4. Richardson and Delgado almost coming to terms at a turn number 4. Delgado into that outside wall. More contact with the outside wall. Struggling with the exit of these corners. The 13 stuck on the high side again. He's got to manage this exit. Comes down the track just a little bit in front of Andrew Koska. After Coolridge, Finmore was able to take that position away, so losing 2 spots in 1 lap and in danger of losing a 3rd. We told you it was going to be fast-paced action here tonight. We are already a quarter of the way through tonight's Beltway 200, brought to you by Cyber Thunder Pro Cup Series right here on iRacing.com, the world's #1 racing simulator. Tracks and cars scanned with laser precision if you're looking to jump behind the wheel and get the best feel. Besides spending a couple $100,000, your best bet is right here on iRacing.com. Come find yourself rubbing elbows with the stars right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. You can find them in the League Directory section. Once again, that's Cyber Thunder Pro Cup Series. So with some promos out the way, we're going to get back to the racing action. Jerry Isaacs right here. Whoa, big moment there. Richardson pulling hard on the wheel. Really going to work himself away from Isaacs. If I'm not mistaken, these guys are all teammates lined up on the track right here. 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row. Bowman, Isaacs, Richardson, Finmore, Delgado, Koska, now Keene. Round out. Here, top 10. Isaac says not so fast. He's going to take that position back. Move his way back into the top 5. Richardson going to fall back to 6th. Finmore now in 7th. And Christian Delgado continues to have those struggles. More contact with the outside wall for Delgado. 13 struggling a little bit with that high side exit. First caution up tonight's race flies on lap number 6. We went back green flag racing on lap number 11. 20 laps have since passed. Drivers are going to start eyeballing pit road. I would say in the next 15 laps or so is when we should see some green flag pit stops beginning to take place. Gary Bowman now under fire after Isaacs, Richardson, and Finmore work their way by. Koska now looks to the inside, and here's the trouble at Dover. You get, I don't want to say moved, because nobody touched Bowman right there. If you're able to get the nose of the car to that left rear fender, getting into the corner, you almost give the driver on the outside no choice but to lift, right? He's either got to lift or he's really got to sail it off into the corner. And here, the marbles, the dirt, collect quickly. at the top side of the racetrack, you can find yourself overstepping that makeshift cushion. For those of you that are dirt track racers and follow dirt track racing, you know what getting on that cushion can do at times. Sometimes it helps the car turn, other times not so much. So you want to try to keep those right side tires out of those marbles. You can see them starting to collect up there next to the safer barrier through 1 and 2. As the high temperatures here on the concrete monster eat the Goodyear rubbers away. You got a fine line there. So if you can make the driver hesitate to your outside, you're more than likely going to be able to gain that position by the exit of the corner. But we have seen some side-by-side battles for 3-4 laps where no real lane is too dominant. But as we continue to lay down this rubber, you'll see the track beginning to already darken up. You can see where that preferred line is. You start to step out of there, and you're really going to abuse the right side tires. And here at Dover, right sides are like gold. We're going to jump around a little bit. What do you say? Let's go back here, Andrew Koska. Well, we're going to stay right here. Looks like some of the producers sitting over here to my right side said, yeah, we're going to keep it right here with some action before we head back through the field. Jacob Bone and Corey Sherman still going at it, 12th and 13th on the racetrack. How about Stephen Music working his way up through the field, up 9 positions from dead last on the starting grid. Now inside of the top 15. Great run. This 09 Camaro. A little bit of pink chrome action on that rear deck lid, man. I'm telling you, digging it at Duncan. A little bit of ground to make up still for that 09. We'll head up through this field. Actually, let's go back here. Let's go back to this 3-car battle. Once again, it's not about always being at the front. Looking right here, right now, you can see that is Judd Rancer right in front, Judd Danielson right in front of Nathan Dufton. Dufton trying to keep the position, trying to keep the spot. Chris Letts, one of the drivers involved in our early incident here tonight, trying to recover. Looks to be in a little bit of damage control for the time being. But with lap number 40 on the board, I would expect pit road to start opening up. I would expect drivers to start looking for that first round of green flag pit stops. Front of the field, 1, 2, 3, stepping away, a little bit of gap, 3-4 car lengths gap in between your top 3 as they head into turn number 3. Kyle Nadeau still showing the way. He's led every single lap here tonight, brought the field to the green flag, and has yet to look back. Beautiful little Lowe's paint scheme on board of that 97 here tonight. Last week's race winner Dave Sanders looking to play spoiler. Looking to be the first driver to go back-to-back visits to victory lane. Gonna have to find a little bit of pace here tonight. I think Nadeau is just a little bit quicker here. We're gonna look at the lap times last time around. And it's really a mix, right? Last time around, Caldwell fastest driver on the track by just 0.02 of a second. We're not talking tenths, we're not talking full seconds. 0.02 of a second. The race leader going to cross the line this time around, 25.09 for Nadeau, 25.15 for Sanders, 25.28 for Caldwell. Drivers going to make their way back down into turn number 1. We're going to take a moment here to focus on the exit of turn 2. Entire field going to work their way around as they do, and the rest of your lead drivers begin to close in on some back markers. See some side-by-side action right there. Kosk and Bowman going at it for position. What do you say we head to that battle, guys? Can we get a look at it? And nope, that's not the battle, guys. We gotta get it. There we go. Jacob Bowman, Ed Jurgen, Dan Keene, all right here running with each other, all trying to make some headway. Remember that 6 of Sherman. He was involved in our lap 6 incident. Went to pit road, fixed some damage. And here he is back inside of the top 15, running in 13th. He's got a little more fuel. So we'll see if Sherman, Dorsey, stretch this green flag run. The fast forward Mustang going to look to the bottom of the racetrack. The 10 of Dorsey going to easily make that pass on Dan Keene. What does the GoPro 85 do here through 4? He's going to run in the tire tracks. Be content just to stay inside of the top 15. Great run so far as we head back to the front of this field. There it is. Sanders trying to come to pit road. Caldwell and Isaacs almost into the back of them. You can see Finmore as well as Koska all onto pit road. So we told you 10 laps, and that was on lap number 40. Here we are on lap number 49. I'm telling you, sometimes it just pays to listen to Dave. Just gonna say so. Just gonna say so. And you know, we promised we can do math earlier. We jumped the gun. Oh my lord. We jumped the gun on lap number 25 and said we were a quarter of the way through the race. Yeah, that was complete fake news. And yeah. We'll just move on from that. Quarter of the way through the race now, as our first round of green flag pit stops have begun. Jerry Isaac's going to take control of the race lead, become just our 3rd different race leader. Big moment there as the driver gets into the outside wall just in front of him. That going to spell big trouble for that 51. Christian Delgado also going to stay out on the racetrack. And this is going to pretty much complete our round of green flag pit stops that quick and that early. Drivers do not want to get caught out extending fuel runs. It doesn't typically tend to pay off here at Dover International Speedway. Looks like 4 drivers have yet to hit pit road, 2 of which are all ready to pit lane back on lap number 7 under our first caution of the night. So they're going to be able to extend this run a little bit further. Jerry Isaacs, though, doing what he can right now to solidify that 3-stop run. Right, the 3-stop race. If he can get to about lap 55 before he comes to pit road, that's going to be 110 before his second stop. That'll be 165 with only 35 laps to go on that last run. So the longer you can go here, the shorter that 3rd stint's going to become. And the fresher your tires are going to still be at the end of that run. But what we see here, there you can see the 18. Or I apologize, that's Andrew Caldwell, the 46. Just so used to seeing Kyle Busch behind the wheel of the Interstate Batteries car and calling it the 18. Andrew, our apologies, buddy. Just as fast, just as talented, especially right here in the Pro Cup. The series for Cyber Thunder Racing. Caldwell going to get himself back onto the lead lap, and that's where these drivers have got to be careful. These drivers extending this run now. Isaacs and Delgado both staying out longer than anybody else. They're going to be giving up a ton of time on the track here, extending this run as deep as they already have, almost a 10-lap difference. I don't know. Because see, if you get to lap 60, then you got to come at 120. Another 60, you're at 180 with a 20-lap run to the end. You're still going to have to make that third and final pit stop. And I just don't see drivers making 70 laps on the fuel work. I think you might be able to save enough fuel to make it work, but I think you're just going to be giving up way too much time. We're going to look at the stopwatch. Last time by 25:39 for your race leader. 26:01 for the 13 machine sitting in second. Dave Sanders, 24:07, 1.3 seconds faster. It's dangerous. You're giving up a ton of time. Drivers able to get themselves one lap back. Only 2 remain on the lead lap during this extended green flag pit run. And this is where you got to be careful too, coming to pit road too soon, right? If you are a driver stuck 2 laps down right now, you desperately got to get by those race leaders. You see the two of Jacob Bowen doing everything he can to get himself 1 lap down. If the caution flag flies here, you get yourself away, Ron, and back onto the lead lap. Much different tire strategy though, but you can see there it is. Chris Dorsey behind the wheel of that number 10 Fast Ford Mustang, sitting in 13th, listed 2 laps down. A caution right now does not help his race. It will trap him 1 lap down, and he will need some quick trouble to get that lucky dog and wave around. He's going to do it the good old-fashioned way, though. Make his way by the much older tires of that 51. And I think these drivers set out week in and week out to try to prove me wrong. I swear they're listening. Somebody has got themselves tuned in TV land out here watching us here tonight, relaying some of this information, because Isaacs is extending this run. I don't see him stopping here this lap either, as we've got drivers making their way to the inside. Number 30 machine, Jared Camilli, walked away with the checkered flag in the season opener. Back to a podium finish last week. Struggling a little bit here at Dover. Still up 5 positions, but barely inside of the top 15. We'll see if that number 30 can get wound up and move his way to the front. Meanwhile, let's go right here. Battles on the racetrack. Kyle Nadu, Cody Richardson right here. Andrew Koska not far back. Dave Sanders with an excellent pit stop. Was able to leapfrog that 97 of Nadu and take what should be the eventual race lead and put it in his back pocket. But we are now 20 laps further than the rest of the field's pit stops. Isaacs and Delgado, much different strategy. Will it pan out? Will it play out into their favor? No one way to find out, and that's to stay right here tuned in to the Cyber Thunder Pro Cup Series. You're watching the Beltway 200. So as the laps continue to click off, we've got a driver to pit road. Jerry Isaacs going to come to pit road. That's going to give the race lead to the 13 machine of Christian Delgado. He's going to stay out yet another lap here. Delgado going to eyeball 3 and 4 down to the apron. Now he's going to bring his machine to the attention of his crew. Delgado with trouble getting to pit road. Delgado with some damage on the front end. It's going to be a long night now for that 13. quickly that hands the race lead back to the 77 of Dave Sanders for the first time here tonight. Let's take a look back at the front. Where's Sanders? There you can find him. The Bad Weather Brewing Company, number 77, showing the way, leading for the first times here tonight. With a great pit stop, able to leapfrog Nade, who's fighting with some lap traffic behind him. Cody Richardson slowly starting to close in with Andrew Koska in tow. Andrew Caldwell going to round out your top 5. But I want to look where Isaacs finishes this run at here. He's already getting back up to speed, but is he going to be able to manage this and keep himself just one lap down? That is going to be the big key. That's going to be a big factor, and it looks like he's able to. Isaac's able to stay just one lap down. An amazing job on and off pit road for Jerry Isaacs. As we are down to just 130 miles of racing action remaining here tonight from Dover International Speedway, you're watching the Cyber Thunder Pro Cup Series. Ooh, big moments here for your race leader. Drivers fighting to get back on the lead lap. Drivers fighting to stay one lap down. Drivers fighting to stay on the lead lap. All right here with the race leader right behind him. Nadu has been able to clear Richardson and beginning to open things up. 2-car length advantage for Nadu entering 3. Let's go back to another battle. I want to go back here. Tight battle. 6th and 7th. Or I apologize, that's going to be 9th, 10th, and 11th on the racetrack. Sherman, Bowman, Dorsey, all running all over each other. And if we remember last week at Chicagoland, these guys mixed it up for the majority of the night at Chicagoland as well. Frenemy faces and frenemy places. Once again. Side-by-side close action here. Ooh, almost into the outside wall. How about the sportsmanship there of Dorsey, though? Gave that to plenty of room on the high side. Both were able to keep themselves out of trouble, but they did lose a little bit of ground to that number 6 machine of Corey Sherman, who has now opened up. Looks to be about a 3/10, almost a 1 second, and we apologize, a 1 second advantage. And what about the recovery here tonight for him, huh? Do we get the end car? Can we go to the end car of him? There he is, putting in work behind the wheel. Corey Sherman recovering well here tonight. Involved in our early incident, caution flag gonna fly back on. Lap number 6, we've seen Sherman involved, went into some damage control for a moment. He has since got the fenders massaged out into racing condition. And he's heading back to the front. Still needs to pick up 3 positions to get back where he qualified, but let's not count this man out. He is showing a ton of guts, pride, perseverance by continuing to stay head down and elbows up and work his way back through the field. Continue to watch this little battle unfold. Sherman going to take the position away as we are just 20 laps away from the halfway point. Let's go back to the front. Sanders has lost the race lead. 3 laps ago, Sanders gave up that race lead to Kyle Nadeau. Great pass on the outside for Nadeau behind the wheel of that Lowe's number 97. Oh, right into the outside wall. Big hit. Up to the high side of the track, giving the race leaders that inside lane through 1 and 2. Big moment there for that 09er Steven Music. Pancaking the outside wall with that Duncan sponsored 09. No pun intended with the pancakes there. No pancakes at Duncan anyway. Trust me, I'm there all the time. Big shout out to everybody that keeps me going at Duncan each and every morning. You guys do an amazing job, I'm telling you. Without my espresso in the morning, this Italian, not going to be happy. I'm just saying. Just saying. We're going to try not to get too far off topic as we typically do at times here. A lot of great racing action. Let's jump around a little bit. Let's see. Well, no, we're getting told to stay right here with your race leaders. They were last to pit road on lap 48, lap 49. Oh, went to the outside wall as Nadeau. Little contact with the outside wall. That's going to open up the inside. Richardson takes a peek. Catfishing at the bottom while tiptoeing through the tulips. On the high side, rip and lip. The 97 going to keep the position for the time being. Cody Richardson just couldn't seem to get the job done. And if you're going to make that inside pass work from a distance back, you got to be smoother than chicken lips and just not able to get it done just yet. Taking a look inside once again. Now with a run off of 2, he's going to slide in behind him down the backstretch and into 3. Richardson continuing to chase Nadeau. We were talking about second round of green flag pit stops beginning to come into the picture. That window starting to open up. We're about 10 laps away from when your race leaders will be eyeballing heading back down to pit road. And looking at it right now, Jerry Isaacs, he's making his way back through the field. He's now into that 9th position and closing in on Dan Keene, running an 8th. Quick time on the speedway right now, still under that 25-second mark. He's about a half a second faster than your race leaders. We're going to eyeball the times as they cross the line this time around. $25.30 for race leader Kyle Nadeau. $25.34 for Richardson. $24.65 for Jerry Isaacs. So still that half a second a lap faster. He is reeling in these race leaders and doing it in a hurry. We've got close battles here as Nadeau and Richardson continuing to go side by side. They're dealing with some lap traffic. And that can change the complexity of the race as well. Running up on lap traffic, you really got to start being a chess player. You got to think a corner or two straight away ahead. I'm going to catch them here. If I don't do this, I can catch them. If I do it this way, I can catch them here. That's going to allow me to make that move, make the pass a little smoother, a little cleaner, a little easier. So you got to be methodical in your approach as you run up on these back markers. Coolidge Fenmore, a driver that we expect to see at the front of the field. Trouble here tonight. Just not able to work his way to the front. Doesn't seem like he has a lot of speed built under the hood here tonight, and a tough run for that 80. Fenmore sitting multiple laps down. First driver listed 2 laps down, and he is still yet to make his second stop. Not a lot of battles to speak of, but we're going to go back to yet another one right here. That 46 of Andrew Caldwell starting to reel in the 86 of Andrew Koska. Big moment for Koska as now the Toyota looks to the inside. I say as the Toyota looks to the inside, but you got 2 Camrys battling out of turn number 2 now. Heading back down the backstretch and into turn number 3. Caldwell looking to get that interstate batteries machine back into a podium spot. Richardson stepped away. Sanders kind of in no man's land here. That Bad Weather Brewing Company number 77, about 3 seconds back from race leader. Has himself a bit of a gap back here to Koska and Caldwell, still battling for positions. Closing right in on them. Here he is, man. I'm telling you, lightning fast right now. And even Isaacs was to pit road about 30 laps ago. He came to pit road on lap 66. A full 13 laps after the rest of the field. I'm telling you, Jerry's playing a sneaky game here tonight. We're going to have to eyeball him throughout the course of the rest of tonight's race. But the battles for track position beginning to fade as drivers settle in to this long green flag run. We are just about 80 laps into a green flag run. And there it is. Drivers inside of your top 3 gonna hit pit road this time around. The 77 of Dave Sanders first to pit road. It looks like Coolidge Finmore on the apron heading to pit road as well. Maydew and Richardson bolt down pit road. That's going to give the race lead back to the Interstate Batteries 46 machine of Andrew Caldwell. We've had ourselves 8 different lead changes, 5 different leaders tonight in the Beltway 200. Brought to you by Cyber Thunder Pro Cup Series right here at Dover International Speedway. If you haven't already, show these drivers some love and appreciation as green flag pit stops heavily underway. Caldwell to pit road. Koska gonna stay out. Lead a lap or 2 here. If you haven't already, show these drivers the love and appreciation. It is tough to go this deep into a green flag run at Dover. This concrete monster can eat you up, spit you out in a heartbeat. And as we reach the halfway point, it's time for your mid-race rundown. As we started tonight's race with 24 drivers on the starting grid, we are down to only 21 still running on the track with very, very few left on the lead lap. Gonna have about, I would say, 13 drivers on the lead lap after the round of green flag pit stops is done with. As the 86 heads to pit road, that's gonna give the race lead back to Jerry Isaacs. Look for Isaacs to try to stay out here for about 16 laps or so before coming to pit road. And this is what I said about the big difference on the strategy, right? Isaacs was the fastest driver on the track for about 25 laps. He's going to be one of the slowest drivers on the track now for about the next 15 laps. So it's a trade-off, but he gets to be the fastest driver longer. And he's been able to eat up that race lead, man. Isaac started back in the 9th position. He's worked the strategy out, and it is panning out for him right now. Back across the stripe, lap 103 goes on the board. Isaacs, Keene, Dorsey yet to hit pit road. The short pit did not work this time for Dave Sanders. He's going to be stuck behind Nadeau and Richardson, but those three drivers all over each other. So let's go to that action. Guys, can we cue that up, please? Can we get to that one? Much appreciated. There you go. See, asking ye shall receive. Love the team here inside the production booth, bringing you all the action from trackside here tonight from Dover International Speedway. Whoa, big moment. Big moment there. Jacob Bowen shaking the car after contact with the outside wall out of turn number 2. Sanders had to take some evasive action. That could have been big time trouble. This is your battle, though. We're going to stay right here. Nadeau, Richardson throwing haymakers at each other. Down the back stretch into turn number 3. They're going to stay side by side. Half a lane between them. Close exit out of 4. Drag race to the line. Nadeau with the advantage for the moment, but they're going to run up on that 85. We'll go 3 wide through 1 and 2. I don't like that exit. Kyle Nadeau flirting with that outside wall on the exit of turn 2. We're going to watch him again here. Keeping it wound up on the high side. There's a drift up the track by the 64. He'll cut it back down to the bottom. A little bit of a wiggle off of turn 2. And Nadeau somehow navigates his way back around that 64 machine. What a run there. What a tight little battle. Isaacs and Keene still yet to hit pit lane. And we would expect Dan Keene to have to hit pit road a little bit sooner than Jerry Isaac. A little bit different of differential on that. A first green flag pit stop for those two drivers. So we'd expect to see the 85 GoPro machine to pit road prior to when the 51 finally heads down pit road. But as we inch closer to just 90 laps to go, I want to give a big shout out to each and every one of the sponsors this season. Oh, contact with the outside wall. Big shout out to all of the sponsors here this season with the Pro Cup. The series with Cyber Thunder Racing Leagues on iRacing.com. Big shout out to Premier Racing Setups, the oldest, longest running setup shop on the platform. If you're looking for the competitive advantage over your competition, they've got live coaching, they got one-on-ones, they've got it all from dirt track to open wheel. You can find your master class right there with Premier Racing Setups. You can also find a link to Premier Racing Setups right there in the description if you haven't already. Click the link, head on over there, let them know that Turn 3 sent you. They might help you out a little bit better. No, I'm just kidding. They are not biased by any means. But get a little discount if you tell them. That's about all you're going to get. Besides some race wins. Just saying. Big shout out to Butt Kicker as well, bringing you every wisp of the wind, bump beneath your feet. Their haptic transducers bring the feel beneath your feet. At Butt Kicker, the future is feeling. Another huge shout out to Mountain Mafia Kennels, the best American bully breeders in Western Carolina. If you're looking for championship, tried and true bloodlines, look no further than Mountain Mafia Kennels. You can find them on Instagram, Facebook, as well as X, Twitter, whichever you want to call it. You can find them right there. Once again, that's Mountain Mafia Kennels. I promise you, you get yourself one of these beasts, you will not be disappointed. Championship Bloodlines through Boosted Bullies. You can also look for them on Facebook as well as Instagram. Hit them up. If you're in the market for a new bully, they've got your breed for you. Once again, that's Mountain Mafia Kennels. Last but not least, a huge shout out to each and every one of you watching in TV land here tonight. Thanks for joining us once again on a beautiful Thursday night racing the Concrete Monster Mile Dover International Speedway. Some high stakes concrete action. These drivers have been on a long green flag run, over 100 laps of green flag action now, as we've only had one caution here tonight. Field reset, and they have set sail. Cody Richardson separating himself now from Kyle Nadu, man. This run right here, looks like those tires really working. The changes from the crew chief on the pit box has really got that Camry looking quick now, as he's just about 13 and a half seconds away from your race leader, Jerry Isaacs. Last time around, Isaacs was 25-29. Richardson, 24-46. So about 0.8 of a second faster is Richardson. He's going to quickly close in on Isaacs. But Isaacs is going to be the fastest driver again on the track. I'll tell you, we should see that 51 on the pit road here in about 3 laps or so, but it's just not going to be enough to get him to the end, right? I mean, we were looking at about a 70-lap run to make it on a 2-stopper. He's going to have to make this one. I don't see how he's going to be able to do it, to be honest. Last to pit road on lap 66. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. We've been wrong on strategy before, and if we're not mistaken, Isaac's a little bit of strategy play in the fuel game last week at Chicagoland Speedway to walk away with a race win. Having just enough fuel to get by his fellow competitors. Dan Keene waving the white flag. He's gonna head to pit road. That's going to leave just Isaacs out front. He's got a big gap. Pit road delta about 54 seconds here. Man, this is the time, race fans, when you're on the pit box as a crew chief, this is where your nerves really start getting to you. Have we calculated this right? Can we get to pit road, back up the speed, and back on the racetrack without giving up too much time? We're looking at not making another stop. As a driver, you're hearing this information and you gotta give it everything. Coming to pit road, you're gonna start to walk that fine line. A pit road penalty this late ends your night. Race over. A caution changes everything. We're going to have 76 laps remaining as we cross the line this time around. Jerry Isaacs, your race leader, still out front, still yet to make his second stop of the night, and he looks to slowly extend his fuel run. Man, well, 66 and 66, that's what? 132. 132 and another 66. Ooh. It's going to be 197. Just a handful of laps short. Knowing you got a 16-second advantage, do you give up the time here and try to try to make it work in the tail end, that last run. Because you're going to have to put in another 66 plus lap run. I don't like taking the chance, but with a race win already in your back pocket, already slotted in for a chance to run for a championship with that race win, he's already in the championship chase. What do you got to lose? I don't think you got much. I say you roll the dice. We're not in Las Vegas, but I say, man, you pick the dice up, blow them in things twice, and you throw that. See if you get the big win. I don't know. I just don't know. That's a beautiful thing too, right? Even as a former driver, as a former spotter, as a former crew chief, I've pretty much run the gamut here on iRacing.com. Been through it all, ran just about everything you can think of on the service. You start to question, when you're not the one behind the wheel able to really save or push hard, only the driver knows how hard he's pushing and driving right now. We can speculate, insinuate, looking at lap times, but that still doesn't mean we know how hard he's pushing behind the wheel of this 51. We're going to take a little look now. Let's ride along on board here. Hear him jump out of the gas pretty early, getting into one. Nice little roll. Pick up the throttle. Mid-squeeze there. Nice little squeeze down. Full throttle on the exit of 2. Bridge crossover. Jumping back out of the gas. Nice little run. Faint squeeze on the gas, full throttle up out of 2 once again, back across the line. There's a lap with your race leader. Behind the 51 machine, Jerry Isaacs with a great run here tonight. We're going to jump back outside of the car. What do you say, guys? There you go. Appreciate it. Let's jump back outside of this car. He's matched that distance on the tires and fuel for his second run. He's going to push it another lap or 2 here. I would expect to look to see him to try to push this thing to about lap 135, 136. If he can get to lap 136 before heading to pit road, I think he'll have enough to make it. And I think he will make a fool out of not just myself, but out of a vast majority of the crew chiefs here tonight at Dover. Can you imagine going to victory lane 2 weeks in a row because of an amazing call and an amazing strategy from your crew chief? You gotta have the talent to execute it, right? That's the other thing. You gotta have the talent and the ability to execute the strategy. And playing it right on point here tonight, man. Jerry Isaacs doing a fantastic job. He's still about 0.4 of a second slower than Cody Richardson, who is reeling him in. But Richardson still has to make one more pit stop. When Isaacs comes to pit road, it will be for the final time unless we see a caution flag. So the biggest worry, the biggest concern now for this 51 is I got to get on pit road as quick as I can without picking up a pit road penalty. But I need this thing to stay clean. I cannot afford to have a caution flag come out when I hit pit road. So now driver, crew chief, spotter, all crossing their fingers, hoping this round of green flag pit stops cycles its way completely through. And there it is, the run to pit road going to begin for Isaac safely. On the brakes, a little bit of a lockup there, but well under the speed. Isaac's making sure he's not going to pick up a penalty. Through 3 and 4 this time around, Kyle Nadeau back to the point. He's got Richardson all over his rear deck lid. These two drivers have been mixing up for the majority of tonight's race. What a run here tonight, man. I'm telling you. Caution flag on lap number 6. We went back green flag racing on lap number 10. We have been clean and green since the drop of the restart. 120 plus laps, 120 miles of racing action. Man. We had a quick caution last week at Chicagoland. Race playing out a little deja vu-ish, if you will. But here we are. 60 laps to go in tonight's Beltway 200 for the Cyber Thunder Pro Cup Series. Most of the field still has to stop at least one more time here tonight. Jerry Isaacs, we know he has enough fuel to get to the end. He's listed in the 9th position. 1 lap down. That is huge. That is key. These drivers at the front, they won't need a full tank of fuel. So will we see some right side tire stops come into play? Trying to shorten that stay on pit road. I'm telling you now, if you're my driver, or if I'm your driver, you better not give me right sides only. I will sit in that pit box until you pick up them left sides and put them on. I do not want to go out on a hot concrete track that has got a ton of rubber laid down on it with just right sides. So we'll see if anybody's brave enough to try it. We'll see how the strategies pan out and play out for this field as we inch closer to 3/4 of tonight. Oh, big impact there. The number 6 of Sherman. Big, heavy impact at a turn number 4. He's absolutely gonna pancake the right side of that 6 machine. You know what we haven't done a whole lot of here tonight is head trackside for some great up-close and personal shots of this field going around as we've got Sanders to pit road for what should be his final time. Where do you want to go, guys? I tell you what, let's go to turn 3. Why not, right? You like that, didn't you? Best place to be right here on turn 3. There you can see your race leader going by, Richardson right behind. Rest of the field coming around there. You can see Isaacs. That's how close he is to unlapping himself the good old-fashioned way. Look for him to be a factor, I'm telling you, by the end of this thing. Isaacs may reclaim that race lead. He's going to easily go around Sherman, do away with Sanders, who is on pit road. And Sanders with that 4-tire stop. Ah, man. This is going to be a tough one for a lot of drivers in this field to get over with here tonight. As you can see, the Bad Weather Brewing Company, number 77, get back up to speed, and all the track race leaders going to fly by. Here comes Isaacs. Cue that Jaws music, man. He's going to get himself back on the lead lap. I can promise you that. Ooh, speaking of getting himself on the lead lap, whoa, the 64 big lock up there was Richardson. Slow enough, or will we see our first pit road penalty tonight? The Interstate Batteries 46 Toyota Camry going to stay out on the racetrack. Andrew Caldwell snubs his nose in the air. He's going to keep it fired up and out there on the high concrete banks here at Dover International Speedway. And a little bit of a quiet night. Miles used to getting a bay of beaten, battered, and weathered cars. Not so much here tonight. We've had 5 retirements in the field here tonight. Started with 24 drivers on the starting grid. We are down to 19. Still on the racetrack with 51 to go as we cross the line. This time around, we're going to be left with only 6 drivers on the lead lap. Oh man, this is... Let's do some math here. 66 laps is the typical run that we've seen from Jerry Isaacs, who's back into the podium position, back into 3rd, and back on the lead lap. That's the most important thing. Only 3 seconds and quickly closing in on your race leaders. Ed Jurgen, Gary Bowman as both going to pull the pit lane. Isaac's going to reclaim that top spot, but with 49 more laps to go. He was on to pit road lap 37. If he can make this, he's already made 66 laps here tonight. He's going to have about 64 laps to run on this fuel run. Man, he's got the fuel, but will he have the pace? That's going to be my next question. We've seen him with over a 20-second advantage, a 20-second lead on this field. This time around, it has shrunken. Dave Sanders just about 16 and a half seconds, and that was a wise move. That's a veteran move right there by the 51. Did you see him move up the racetrack and just let that 6 by? At this point in time of the race, if you're behind the wheel of that 51, you can't get caught up in racing cars. Sounds crazy. You're on a racetrack with 20-plus drivers, but you're not racing the cars. At this time, Isaacs is racing the track. He's got to hit his marks. He's got to stay smooth. If a car with fresher tires runs up on you, you got to do what he did there for the 6. Move over. Let him by. Don't get caught up in trying to keep yourself out front. You are the race leader. You have enough fuel to get to the end. You just have to maintain the gap. And that gap is over 15 seconds. He can give up about a quarter of a second a lap and be safe here. Where he's going to start seeing that trouble is if he gives up a half a second or more a lap. That's where things are going to start to get interesting. Last time around, 24:42 for Isaacs. 24:07 for Sanders, the first man on the track with fresh Goodyears. That can make it to the end. This is where it gets good. I think we're going to see drivers come together right at the end. But here's the other equation of that. Here's the other side of that equation. Right. Let's go right here. Sanders. Behind lap traffic. He was closing in. Now he's going to get trapped, have to wait it out. He's going to give up some of that time. Back to Jerry Isaacs. But even further back, Nadu, Richardson, the more they battle amongst themselves for position, that we've seen them doing all night there. You can see again the Lowe's number 97, your Premier Racing Center Pole Award winner. And Cody Richardson behind the wheel of that 64 machine. They've been all over each other, lap after lap. They are not doing themselves justice. Yes, they're battling for the final spot on the podium. Yes, they're battling for position. But the more they tangle amongst themselves, the further away Dave Sanders gets, the further away Jerry Isaacs gets. I don't know. Less than 40 laps now remain. Jerry Isaacs out front, 13.6 second advantage over the Bad Weather Brewing Company, number 77 of Dave Sanders. We thought Sanders might be the driver to throw caution to the wind, with that race wind to fall back on. But it's Isaacs pushing the limits now. A little bit of contact there for Nadu. You know, we're going to stay right here with this battle for third and fourth on the racetrack. It is your closest battle, one of your only battles on the track at this juncture in tonight's race. And I just, again, I'm telling you, I'm just as nervous for Isaacs as if I was his crew chief right now, man. You got to be able to bring this thing home. The strategy has panned out. It's played out in your favor. You utilize that long run to make one less stop. You've got to execute. Big word there. And it's a word that a lot of people fail to comprehend and accomplish at the same time. It's one thing to have a winning strategy. It's one thing to have the winning adjustment. But if you cannot execute that adjustment, if you cannot execute that plan, it's all for naught. You get nowhere at the end of the day. Points potential on the line here tonight for race leader Jerry Isaacs. He's not going to walk away with the most laps led. He's not going to walk away with the fastest lap of the race. But he could walk away leading the most important lap of the race, and that's the final lap. We're just about 3 laps away from 30 to go. 33 miles of racing action laid out in front of these Cyber Thunder Pro Cup Series drivers. The time is now. You cannot wait any longer. If you've got any reserve in the tank, now is the time to push. I would have pushed a little bit sooner, but I'm not behind the wheel. I think Dover, it's one of the tracks you have to attack. I think you have to attack that corner entry into 3, really let the car roll before you squeeze back into the throttle. Same thing for turn 1. You want to get a great exit out of 4, and you really want to attack that entry. You really want to dive it in off that high side of the bank and get that car pitched and let the banking do the work for you. But it's a driver's track. It's a rhythm track. I know you hear me personally here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. I know you hear Dave talk about rhythm, getting into rhythm. And you hear that at places much smaller than this. You hear that at Martinsville. You hear it at Richmond. You hear it at Bristol. Typically, you get to mile and a half, and there's not a lot of rhythm. It's more about your markers. Right, but Dover, definitely a rhythm track. And what I mean by a rhythm track, you can feel it up out of the corner. 1, 2, 3, out. 1, 2, 3, slide into gas. Back full. 3, 2, 1. You get that rhythm in your foot. Almost a muscle memory, if you will. We'll see. Quickly running up on the tail end of Kyle Nadeau is Dave Sanders. Sanders losing a little bit of ground in that final green flag pit stop. But because of the battle between Richardson and Nadeau, Sanders has closed right on in here. We're going to have a battle second, third, fourth on the racetrack. So your final podium positions up for grabs here late in tonight's race. A lot on the line, a lot going on. 25 to go. This time around, man, about a half a lap back too. Isaacs, man, we're going for ice cream, bro. Sprinkles are for winners. You heard it here. You heard it from me. Sprinkles are for winners. If you don't get the reference, I don't know what to tell you. We're going to go back to another battle here. A little bit of a hornet's nest going on here. Mix of drivers and cars. Oh, contact! Sanders, contact! Contact with a fellow driver on the track. Man, that could have got ugly there for Dave Sanders for a moment. The 08 of Gary Bowman. Right here. Listed 2 laps down. He's trying to find a way to get himself back 1 lap down should we have a late race caution. But with just 25 laps to go. Well, I mean, these guys are going at it, so it's possible. Sanders going to let the fresh tires by. He's going to let the fresh tires of Jurgen by as well. Smart move there, sailing it deep into the corner, man. Oh my goodness. So as we're down to just about 20 laps remaining here tonight, I've seen we've had a lot of faces out there in TV land. Let's hit that thumbs up button, man. Let's show these drivers who appreciate and enjoy the action that they've provided you with, not just here tonight, but the opening 3 weeks of this season have been astronomically phenomenal. We've had just 3 cautions and over 500 laps of racing. I implore you to find another league that does that. Well, I'll tell you where to find them. You'll find them right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. We got a handful of great groups, highly skilled, professional esports race drivers. And you can find 20 plus of them week in, week out, right here with the Cyber Thunder Pro Cup Series. If you haven't already, show them some love and appreciation. Make sure before you go, you drop them that thumbs up. So here we are. Timing and scoring, we're going to look through the speeds. 10-second advantage still remains for Jerry Isaacs in place. Lap times. This time by 25:17 for race leader Jerry Isaacs. 25:03 for Cody Richardson. So about a 1/10 a second faster. You do the math. A 1/10 a lap is enough time. But will it be enough to put them in position with the opportunity to not only look for a pass, but to complete the pass. We're going to head up front with your race leader. We're going to watch this thing unfold from the front of this field. We've got some lap drivers beginning to make their way to the rear deck lid of your race leader, Isaacs. How well will he sustain the speed with letting these drivers by? That's going to come into factor as we cross the line with only 15 to go. If Isaacs is able to bring this thing home, I think there's going to be a lot of crew chiefs. I think there's going to be a lot of drivers that want to get in the ear of those two and figure out just where did the strategy come from? How did you come up with the numbers? How did you know that it was going to work? How did you trust your crew chief on the call? That's always the thing behind the wheel. You hear your crew chief say, no, we're going to stay out here, we're going to extend the run, and we're going to end up making one less stop to the rest of the field. As a driver, I've been there before. I've been in this position that Isaacs finds himself in. And as you get to these final laps, and you're hearing those times read off to you by your spotter, you start questioning. You start looking at that fuel gauge. Man, it's getting low. Man, it's getting close. Man, they're closing in. Man, I got to get on the gas a little sooner. I got to get going again. And all of that can lead to trouble. If you get out of rhythm, if you get out of what you have been doing that has been successful, you can create problems for yourself. You start to feel things in the car that may not quite be there. Now the car's getting tight. I gotta stay out of the gas a little longer. You start feeling things that you maybe weren't feeling earlier. There's a lot on the line. A chance to race for the championship. Right here. Dangling out in front of this 51. He's got 10 more miles to go, 10 laps here at the Concrete Monster Mile that is Dover International Speedway. And he will check himself into that winner's column. He will book his ticket to the postseason. 0.6 of a second faster last time around for Richardson. The pace is picking up while the laps are winding down. Man, again, the ability to stay true to the strategy has been second to none tonight for this 51 driver, pit crew, and crew chief. They have done an absolutely phenomenal job. But can they bring it home? That is the question. And can we go 190 miles, 190 laps without a caution? I mean, we had a caution on lap number 6, went back racing at lap 10. We have been green flag ever since. We are down to less than 5 miles to go. Cody Richardson, man, he's on a tear. Still about 0.3 of a second faster, but with the lap count going away, I don't think there's much he's going to be able to do from here on out. Solidly into that second position. Great run here tonight from Richardson. Big battles all night long. You can see Andrew Caldwell behind the wheel of that 46 machine. Caldwell started in second, running in fifth, but listed one lap down. Only 4 drivers on the lead lap. Handful of drivers 1 lap down, and the majority of this field trapped 2 laps down with this long green flag run here tonight from Dover International Speedway. And just, again, phenomenal job by this man right here. He's going to work his way out of turn number 4, come across the stripe, popsicle sticks on display, only 2 laps to go. 2 miles of racing remain in front of your race leader. Man, he couldn't see this white flag fly any quicker, any sooner. Isaacs is going to make his way through 3 and 4, back across the stripe for the final time. White flag flies, final lap here tonight in the Beltway 200. We're going to keep ourselves glued to this guy right here through 1 and 2 for the final time, shooting down the backstretch, half a mile. And he is your newest race winner, and it's going to be no problem at all. Coming out of 4 for the final time. Checkered flag flies. Race win belongs to that 51, and man, did he put it on. Great strategy. Great speed. And, oh my goodness. Jerry Isaacs, man, I tell you what, you Missouis, Mizzous, what is that, Missourians? See, now we're going to look kind of dumb. I mean, I do a good job of that anyway, but Missourians, how do you, anyways, he from the Show Me State. He showed him something here tonight. Put it on him with a great strategy. He's going to park it on the start-finish line, get the fans in the stands. A little photo opportunity at the end of tonight's race. We're going to step away for just a brief commercial break, get things set up and ready to go for your post-race interviews. But again, Isaacs, what a run. We'll be back after this brief break. And back trackside with the drone cam going crazy on the front stretch. We got a full team here in our post-race show, so we're going to kick things off, and we're going to get right to the action. We're just going to drop in here, and we're going to see how these teammates are feeling about everything. We're just going to jump down here and
pit,
say,
I think
guys, first, second, third, how the heck did you pull it off?
Well,
raced hard,
Jerry
man. How
has
much
about
fun
an
was
extra.
that?
Jerry has 2 gallons extra of fuel, I think.
I have, I still have 1.5 gallons left.
I only have 1 gallon left. What the heck?
How's this
Oh,
possible? You got a bigger
you
fuel
know,
tank,
you
Jerry?
might as well fill it up.
You stealing parts from your teammates? What's going on here, man?
I've got a fuel line that runs all through the tube chassis.
Nice, nice, nice. Well, we're gonna try to keep it somewhat formal here, man. Walking away third, Kyle. Great race, great night for you. I mean, you started with the pole position, you fell back to third. A lot of laps led here tonight. How you feeling about your night and how things panned out?
I think that's a nice way to say it. Kyle, you started on the pole. What the hell happened?
I beat myself, I'm guessing. That last pit stop, I hung left to get in my pit box, and some guy was coming out, so there was a bit of a miscommunication on pit road, and I think that kind of just counteracted the right side damage I had and put it back to a little bit on the loose side, and that was kind of it. I let Cody go on that last run, thinking like, well, I ran him down the last time, but then it was just evil after that, and he drove away. So I'm like, well, you know, third's not bad after a disaster of last week, having basically no speed and anything. So switch back to the Chevy, and yeah, seems like it was a good switch.
Well, man, the bow tie is always better. I'm just gonna say it. I'm sorry. I know the next guy we're about to try to get a couple words with. He's got a Toyota, but you know, bow tie still won. I'm just gonna say, you know, sorry. Shoot me later. I don't care. It is what it is. But Cody, your teammate said he let you go. How do you feel about that comment? He let you go.
Well, yeah, he finally let me go on the 4th fuel run and everything. He didn't let me go any of the other times, racing me all hard and everything. I'm just saying. Now, that was a great race by Kyle. We're trying to teach him a little bit about driving these next gens. He's always complained about them. We've done pretty good, I think, teaching him. Last few weeks, we've all been up here, you know, top 4, top 5. I think we would have probably swept the top 6 had Andrew not had some technical difficulties and everything. We were running pretty darn good up there, the entire group of us here. But, hey, I mean, I started way back in the pack, had a bad qualifying lap, was able to work up to second. I mean, I didn't think I had anything speed-wise for either Kyle or Jerry, but, I mean, I finally got in a rhythm about halfway through that last fuel run there, finally got in a really, really good rhythm, but I ain't nothing for Jerry. He was 8 seconds in front of me, and the gap stayed there, I think, from about lap 175 to lap 200. He did a really, really good job. I mean, I'm proud of him. Jerry, congratulations.
Now, see, Cody, you mentioned a word that we said a handful of times throughout tonight's race, and that was rhythm. And we're going to ask your teammate that walked away with the checkered flag and punched his ticket to the postseason with this race win. How important is that rhythm here at Dover? Yes, it is a mile, and typically you don't get rhythms at mile tracks, more so of those short tracks such as Martinsville and Bristol and Richmond. So how important was that rhythm, especially with you being on a much different strategy?
Yeah, I was going to say, for me, it was huge. Being on my strategy, I had to run my tires longer, which means to me I had to have a better rhythm to keep those tires safe. And for me, it was weird because my rhythm changed. So the first, 30 laps or so, I just stick to the white line at the bottom, turn it in and go. Then once the tires kind of just went away a little bit, I would start diamonding those corners. And that helped me save the tires, I think, to be able to run longer.
Well, I don't know how you kept the pace in the car at the end of the race. You were only about 3 to 4 tenths slower than the much fresher tires of your teammates behind. And I mean, I'm going to throw this out, and this isn't a shot at you. I mean, you walked away with a checkered flag, so there again, you did an outstanding job. But your teammate that finished in second, man, 16 positions gained throughout tonight's race. Do you think you might have had to deal with him if he was a little closer at the start?
Closer at the start? Probably. I mean, It's hard to say. I mean, 8 seconds, absolutely. If you got to drive through traffic, you're going to lose 8 seconds. And we had one early caution, and that was it. So without a doubt, he probably would have won the race if that was the case.
You
Well,
know,
man,
Jerry, like I told you, I don't think so. I don't know if I had anything for you. I caught you in that first run and tried to pass you. You made it hard and then drove away from me. So I don't know if I would have been able to get past you or not, Jerry.
Yeah, well, if you did try to pass me, I was already thinking, okay, I got to get to the outside, make him use his tires on the inside, and I was going to try and do the same thing again.
The downside of this is, so Dave, if you don't know, Jerry is normally my crew chief in open setup races. So Jerry knows exactly what ticks me off, what angers me, and exactly what buttons to push to make me lose my rhythm. So it was going to be hard for me to pass him anyway.
and he did them all tonight too, didn't he? He did them all tonight.
He absolutely did. He's probably lucky he couldn't hear me in his headset because, you know,
Well, we've got a bit of a first here tonight. We've got all the teammates. Well, not all the teammates. We've got the teammates on the podium all together here in this post-race interview. A little bit of a muddle huddle going on. We've created arguments amongst the podium, and you're all teammates. I'd love to be a fly on the wall in the team meeting after this because I'm telling you, it's going to be a wild and crazy one. But nonetheless, I want to get back on track just a little bit here, get some of this official business out the way. Jerry, a fantastic job walking away with your first win of the season. We're going to step back for just a moment. We're going to rerun this thing for your final shout-outs, thank yous, love yous. Let's go back to Kyle, and we'll just progress on through. And, you know, I'm going to shut up, and Mike's y'all's.
All right. First of all, I want to thank you, Dave, for broadcasting the Cup Series. It's an awesome place to race. I want to say thank you for watching to my grandma, my girlfriend, and everyone else there at Turn 3 Racing Network. I want to give big thanks to Cody. He was coaching me mid-race, telling me when to back it up and when to get on the throttle. And then he said he's going to stop teaching me because I started driving away from him. Jerry, for surprising me with a Mad Sim team application at the last second when they were putting in the teams. And Andrew, geez, I'm new to this. All these new drivers. Dave and Daniel, got him. Yeah, and everyone else racing. Awesome race tonight, boys.
all right, I guess that means it's my turn. Yeah, thanks to everybody on the team. Jerry, congratulations. You deserve it. I got to say, hi, Mom. Hi, Jerry's mom. Hi to all the friends and family out there watching and everything. Thank you again, Dave, for doing this every week. We really do appreciate it. Thanks to all the teammates and everything on the car, Mad Sim Racing, Mad Spartan Sim Racing, all the sponsors that are on the car as well. And make sure you check out madsimracing.com and intotheapex.com. New podcast every weekend.
Man, ditto what they said. Hi, Cody's mom. And Mom, I finally did it. I finally beat Cody. My mom always says, how come you're not faster than him? I'll take it, man. Hi, Mom.
Well, you were tonight, Jerry. You definitely were tonight.
I'll take it. One night's fine. I don't care if it's a strategy win. I'll take it.
Well, guys, this has been an absolute pleasure to catch up with all three of you all at the same time at the end of one of our just amazing races here. If the opportunity arises, man, hit me up. I'll come join the podcast and have a little bit of fun with you guys from time to time. We'll talk about that at another time, but nonetheless, here tonight, a fantastic run, not just for you and your teammates, but for the entire field. Over 190 laps of green flag action after that early caution. Job well done to not just you guys, but again, the entire field here with the Cyber Thunder Pro Cup Series. So with all that being said, I mean, it's going to be tough to top this finish. It was an amazing job, much different strategy between you teammates, but you all came together at the end on podium finishes. So congratulations. We look forward to catching up with each and every one of you, and we'll see if we can catch up with the trio again, maybe a little bit later on this season. But until then, boys, you know how it goes, so keep that thing safe, and as always, stay fast.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you much.
Hi, parents. Love you guys.
Well, all right, there it is to end tonight's post-race interviews. We're going to have a little fun with the entire team in the post-race show. Job well done. You heard us mention it. You heard them mention it about that rhythm that we talked about. multiple times here tonight. Isaacs stayed on task, stayed with the rhythm, and got the job done. Punched his ticket to the postseason and will look to race for a championship. Man, what a night. What a race. What an event here for the Cyber Thunder Pro Cup Series at Dover International Speedway. And with producers hitting those familiar sounds in the background, you know the sounds, you know it's time to run down tonight's unofficial race results. In the Beltway 200, walking away with his first win of the season behind the wheel of that number 51 machine, Jerry Isaacs to victory lane. Cody Richardson going to come home in second with your Premier Racing Senate Pole Award winner, finishing in third here tonight. Dave Sanders going to follow up last week's win with a top 5 showing. Sanders will finish in fourth. Andrew Caldwell with a solid run. He'll top out your top 5. Gary Bowman back in 6th. Ed Jurgen gonna slide home in 7th. Dan Keenan in 8th tonight. The number 2 machine of Jacob Bowen gonna finish in 9th with Jared Camilli finishing in 10th. Coolidge Finmore gonna turn his race around here tonight. The 80 will finish 3 laps down, but in 11th, Corey Sherman. Right behind him in 12th, 13th place here tonight belongs to Steven Music with Dave Gang 4th, right behind him, and Brian Dorsey finishing out your top 15. Judd Danielson back in 16th, 17th tonight from Dover belongs to the 86 machine of Andrew Koska. Ray Richard right there in 18th, 19th. At the end of 200 miles is Alan Ayres, Chris Dorsey, Nathan Dupton, Christian Delgado, Chris Lentz, and William Kern finish out the 24-car field. That's going to do it for us. We're going to begin to cut off the cords, or cut off the lights and roll up the cords. Stay tuned for next week's action. We're going to bring it right back to you. Stay safe, stay loved, my friends, and until next time, we'll meet you in turn 3.